Good morning and happy Sabbath. To start our health talk, let's turn to the spirit of prophecy. Sister White says, we cannot afford to dwarf or cripple a single function of the mind or body by overwork, and that's our topic for today, or abuse of any part of the living machinery. And you'll see the reference, or if you can't see it because it is a little small, it comes from the health reformer. She says, those who make great exertions to accomplish just so much work in a given time and continue to labor when their judgment tells them they should rest are never gainers. They are living on borrowed capital. They are expending the vital force for which they will need at a future time. I'm not talking about this because I'm perfect with this area of overwork. I have struggled with this immensely, and I see how the spirit of prophecy is true, and I think we can see that all around us with this concept of overwork. Because we're incredibly overworked as a society, not just here, but in all parts of the world. It is our duty to place ourselves where we shall, I think that's supposed to be, we shall not be overworked. Some may at times, I'm sorry? Oh, thank you. It is not our duty to place ourselves where we should be overworked. It is not our duty. Some may at times be placed where this is necessary, but it should be the exception, not the rule. If we honor the Lord by acting our part, he will, on his part, preserve our health. So this is a subject that Sister White knew very intimately herself, because her husband, James White, he suffered with overwork. He was so stressed with it that he had medical problems from it. So this concept of overwork is very apparent in our culture, and there is a researcher from the University of Georgia who defines overwork in 4 different dimensions. She says there's a behavioral aspect, a motivational aspect. So the behavioral is working longer than what is expected or required. So that's like if you have a 40-hour work week and you're working 50 hours. Motivational, feeling like you ought or you need to always be working, feeling guilty when you're not working. And then there's the emotional, which kind of is a little bit of a crossover with the motivational, feeling negative emotions when you're not working, such as anxiety, guilt, and frustration. And then the thought side of it. So this is where you're constantly thinking about work, constantly ruminating, going over and over in your mind. And those thoughts just consume you, even maybe when you're on vacation too. So what are some of the signs of overwork? So fatigue, it has an effect on your immune system. Difficulty managing emotions, you're more likely to lose your temper, get angry. Weight fluctuations. Again, I said this is a topic that I've struggled with, and this has been something that I've struggled with because of overwork. And also poor work-life balance. Those are all signs of overwork. So then what about some solutions? Well, we as Sabbath keepers are blessed to have the Sabbath because God gave it to us knowing that we may be prone to overwork. But it's not just about rest, it's about relaxation too, taking breaks and vacations, seeking support, managing your workload, that goes along with the work side. And this one about examining where your worth comes from. Sometimes we overwork for different reasons. For some people, it might be a sense of like work helps them feel accomplished. They get a sense of achievement. But really and truly, where does our worth come from? It comes from Christ, right? We don't have to overwork to prove ourselves that we're such an amazing person or this or that. We already have worth because Jesus has given us that worth. So, this quote also, this is all taken from a section in a devotional called Temperance in Labor. Sister White says, by practicing temperance in eating, in drinking, in dressing in labor, holistic. We think about Luke 2:52, and Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature, in favor with God, in favor with man. It's just not one thing, it's all things. So temperance in eating, dressing, and in labor. And all things we can do for ourselves what no physician can do for us. And that is just such a beautiful thought. We have nothing to fear. God has given us everything in the spirit of prophecy in such a holistic way that she's talking about something that we are really struggling with today, this concept of overwork. So be blessed and have a wonderful rest of the Sabbath.